2 people have died from an outbreak of the bacteria Listeria linked to deli counter-sliced meat, and dozens more have been sickened, prompting the CDC to urge people to take precautions with meat from deli counters at this time. There is no indication so far that people are getting sick from pre-packaged meats, the CDC reported. The other states where hospitalized people lived were Georgia, Massachusetts, Maryland, Minnesota, Missouri, North Carolina, New York, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Wisconsin. The people got sick between May 29th and July 5th, although additional recent cases may not yet be reported, because it can take up to 2 weeks for symptoms to arise, as well as another couple of weeks for testing to determine whether a case is linked to an outbreak. Officials cautioned that people may be at risk in additional states that have not yet been identified, also due to the fact that symptoms can take a while to appear and investigations are lengthy. The actual number of people sickened is likely higher, the CDC said, because many people recover without seeking professional medical care. The people sickened so far ranged in age from 32 to 94. Welcome to Channel Health and Alerts. A well-informed person is more likely to survive longer and have a better quality of life than an uninformed one. Subscribe to the channel to keep updated on different health issues. Listeria can cause a mild intestinal illness, and most people do not become seriously sick. But in some people, the bacteria spread beyond the gut, causing a severe condition called invasive listeriosis. People ages 65 and older, pregnant people, and those with weakened immune systems are particularly at risk. One of the people sickened in this latest outbreak was pregnant and hospitalized, but the mother recovered and remained pregnant, the CDC reported. Symptoms among pregnant people include fever, muscle aches, and tiredness. Other people may experience those symptoms too, plus headache, stiff neck, confusion, loss of balance, or seizures. Listeria can spread easily on deli counter equipment and surfaces, as well as via hands and other food. Refrigeration does not kill Listeria, but reheating to a high enough temperature can do so. That's why the CDC advises that those who are at high risk should take the precaution of reheating deli counter meat to steaming hot, internal temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit, and then let it cool before eating. What is Listeria? It can happen to anybody. You eat something and it doesn't agree with you. You feel sick to your stomach and you might come down with diarrhea. After a couple of days, or less in most cases, the trouble goes away and that's the end of it. A possible source of the illness, Listeria, one of the causes of food poisoning. It's triggered by Listeria bacteria that can live in soil, water, dust, animal poop, and other substances. You can get sick if you eat food that carries it. For most healthy people, the infection doesn't pose much of a threat, even if it makes you sick for a day or two. Healthy people rarely become ill from Listeria infection. But for some people, the infection can be serious or even life-threatening, particularly pregnant women and their babies, people whose immune systems aren't working right, and seniors. If you belong to any of those groups, you need to be extra cautious. Prompt antibiotic treatment can help curb the effects of Listeria infection. What causes Listeria? Listeria is caused by bacteria that can grow at cold temperatures, like those inside a refrigerator. Even freezing doesn't stop it. When it contaminates food, you can't see, smell, or taste it. People pick up the infection most often from deli meats that aren't processed properly, or from dairy products made from milk that isn't pasteurized. In other words, the milk hasn't been heated to kill germs. Other common sources of outbreaks are cantaloupes, hot dogs, soft cheeses. Symptoms when you get a Listeria infection, the signs typically include diarrhea, nausea, achy muscles, fever. They could appear a few days after you eat the bad food, or they might take a couple of months to show up. If you have any of those symptoms, contact your doctor. If the infection spreads to your nervous system, it's more serious. This severe form, called listeriosis, is fatal for 20% of people who have it. This happens most often with the very young, the very old, and people with weakened immune systems. The signs could be headache, stiff neck, confusion, loss of balance, convulsions. Go for emergency care or call 911 if you or a loved one have any of these symptoms. When you're pregnant, you need to take special care because you have an increased risk of Listeria in the blood. Call your doctor if you have headache, fever, achy muscles, back pain with or without diarrhea. A mild case of Listeria may need no treatment at all. For a more serious case, the doctor may use antibiotics. Foods to watch out for: there's no vaccine to protect against Listeria, so it's important to be on guard. The main foods that can make you sick include Raw vegetables contaminated by soil or by manure that was used as fertilizer, animal meat that is contaminated with listeria, milk that wasn't pasteurized, and other products made from it, processed foods such as deli meats and hot dogs that are contaminated after they're produced. How to protect yourself. Be sure to wash your hands, clean them well with warm, soapy water before you start cooking. If you handle raw meat or poultry, wash them afterward. People who should be extra careful. Pregnant women, and especially pregnant Hispanic women, are more likely than most people to come down with listeriosis. An infection, even one that affects the mother mildly, can have very serious effects on the baby, including premature birth or even stillbirth. If a baby is born with listeria, symptoms might include little interest in feeding, fussiness, fever, vomiting. Pregnant women and people in the other at-risk groups, seniors and people whose immune systems are weak, need to be especially careful. Recalled foods. Just as cars might be recalled by their makers because of safety defects, companies that make and sell food sometimes have to recall it. News media report these recalls when they happen, and the federal foodsafety.gov website lists recalls on its homepage. If you see a recall for food that you've eaten, watch for symptoms of listeria and contact your doctor if you have any. To protect yourself, the CDC advises reheating deli meats to steaming hot. That's 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Stay informed and vigilant. For more updates, subscribe to channel Health and Alerts. Share this video to help keep your loved ones safe. Reset health, reset life.